In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to introduce you to the best 10 books that have changed my life. These are books that I read over and over again every single year, and I think it is an incredible disservice if you do not incorporate these books and learn from them. These books took me from a young adult with social anxiety and no social skills to a full-blown, fledged-out man. All right, so the first book is a book that's called King, Warrior, Magician, Lover. You might have heard about this. It talks about the four energies that are within a man. King energy, which is the leadership, warrior, which is the fighter, the magician, which is the creator, and the lover, which is, well, speaks for itself. I think this is a very important book, especially in today's self-help society, where everybody's talking about masculine and feminine energies. I, in fact, think that women should read this because women often get caught up in only the magician energy. They forget about their king energy, right? They forget about being a queen, what that really means, right? Being a boss chick, what it really means. And if, as a man, if you're watching this, you might say, well, I have several different energies inside of me, and I want to know how to balance those energies that I have, right? You might have more of one than the other. For example, I have a lot of the king energy, but not all of a warrior. So I'll do things like finding martial arts, doing jujitsu, practicing knife as a martial art, going to gun shooting ranges, working on my delayed gratification, etc.
Okay, here we are. Every city I go to, I try to check out the newest cafes and coffee places and things that are dope. But anyways, you can always experience lifestyle wherever you go at an effective cost. The next book I want to recommend to you is a book called Hannibal and Me. This is a book about war times. Actually, it was written by a guy who was, I think, a stock trader in finance. He hated his life, went back, researched his family, found out his family was in the war, and researched people who were really historical. And there's a story of Hannibal, who was, I believe, a Roman general. And the way that he won was not through being brute force or just through having the best ideas, but perseverance and doing the boring thing for a long time. This is an important lesson for anybody in life when adapting a new skill, trying to do something you've never done before, and also when you have an adversity in your life. For example, we had an adversity in the business, and the way we chose to handle it was something called a Fabian technique, which is where you use persistence to wear out the other party by being neutral. It's actually incredible. It's really, really useful in life. It's a lesson that you cannot find in most places because most pop culture and self-development is not taught for those reasons. So anyways, I recommend you highly check out that book. So anyways, check out that book. It'll be great. It'll change your life tremendously. And without further ado, let's get back to the good stuff. Oh yeah.
Okay. The next book I want to recommend to you is one that is called Iron John. Now, it's all about your personal hero's journey. And I'm going to say something very, very advanced here that you might not get at first listen. Sometimes in your life, there's going to be things that happen to you, and you can't quite place these particular events in your life. You don't know how to make the best out of the worst situations. And this book, Iron John, is about a hero's journey of the person listening to, the protagonist. And they somehow go through this journey. They don't really quite understand it themselves, and it all comes together in the end, and everything makes sense. It's almost like The Alchemist, if you've ever read that book, okay? So I'd highly recommend it. Okay, this book is not a true story, but if you ever find yourself in a place in your life, which I would like to call the waiting place, which is where you're in a place of patience, almost like a limbo, you can't make sense of a lot of things, this would be a great book to help you with guidance of what the possible outcome could be and how to make the best out of worse situations. Put that onto your list. Another book I want to talk to you about that at first you might have some doubts or skepticism is the Bible. Now, I've read the full Bible. I've read the full Quran. I've read the full Torah. And I will say that it's great for looking at human patterns of behaviors. Don't think about it as a spiritual book initially. Think about it as human patterns of behavior, especially, for example, all the good and bad relationships. For example, as a man, you can learn how lust can be overwhelming, like Solomon was in the Bible, King Solomon. You can look at Jezebel, right? A woman of lust. You can look at how Samson fell to the wiles of a woman who constantly played on his weaknesses. If you love me, you tell me all your secrets, right? You can look at Adam and Eve, how Adam lost his frame and how Eve got caught up in her emotions of wanting everything without working for it. There's so many patterns of human behavior that ring true today that make this an amazing book that you have to read annually, at least some sections of it, or to get your mind aligned with the best and worst parts of human nature. All right, we're doing a little wardrobe change. We're out to the gym. Next book I want to mention to you is a book called The Master Key System by Charles Hensel. You might have heard a lot about manifesting and being your power and creating your own universe and destiny, all that kind of stuff, right? Where it really comes from is an old school philosophy many years ago, I think about 200 years ago, called New Thought, right? It was a kind of a spiritual mind connection. theory and concept. So there's a lot of authors of New Thought. So one of the great ones was this book, and actually this is how it encouraged The Secret and other books, right? This book is great because it always gets you to go deeper in your psychology and ask yourself, why? Why do I think this? Why is this happening? Where does this idea come from? And it also gets you to look at the physical world around you, where things came from. So somebody created this bookcase, all right? Why? Because they wanted to fulfill a service. Why? Where did they get the idea of bookcases from? Maybe they saw it somewhere else. Why did that person create a bookcase? Maybe they need some place to store things. Maybe the idea came from somewhere else. So you have to go deeper and deeper and deeper in every psychological thought, which becomes a manifestation in the real world. So everything you see in front of you, the shirt, that bookcase, this TV over here, everything is a manifestation of a thought that came into fruition in the physical world. So you will learn that in your own life to understand the reality that you create through your...
Okay, moving on to our next one here on our way to the gym in front of the cathedral is No Excuses by Brian Tracy. So you might have things you want to do, right? Like expanding your social circle, meet high net worth individuals, create a team of guys that are on your side, that are army, that are all about you and compound interest, or maybe you want to have a great career. Whatever you want to do socially, you might have the skills, but you might not be applying yourself. So No Excuses is all about actually applying yourself, removing the things that would stop you in a format that has no excuses to do so. Great book, highly recommend it. It got me from when I was making like my business 150K to like 700K in my business. Tremendously impactful book. There's another book here I want to recommend from Ryan Blair. You might know him, I think it's a fitness company. Now, the great thing about this book is it's good for business. He actually goes through all of his challenges of business. But on top of that, he talks very extensively about his personal demons, growing up in poverty and being around people that had drugs. And it's a great biography. It's one of the greatest biographies I've ever heard actually written in terms of just very practical daily things that you can use in your life. He doesn't hold back. It's well written, well explained. This book was something I listened to when I had challenges I was working through and I had a path to get forward. But just always hearing narrations of people's lives are tremendous. Now, if you want to talk about amazing biographies, I would be regretful to remit Total Recall by Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is a guy who came from a country, worked in the military, became champion at bodybuilding, and then he also became amazing at acting, and then became amazing at politics and married a Kennedy. If you want to look at an example of somebody who has mastered every area of life, but they had no reason to be successful, this is the guy. Absolutely, hands down, without a doubt. Reading this book in different circumstances will teach you how to navigate your life in areas you have no reason to be successful, and also how you can leverage every advantage you have and skill to also compound the effect of your progress. And the last two books, I'm gonna lump them all in here together because they're financial, and give you one bonus book, okay? It's gonna be The Almanac by Charlie Munger. It's gonna be The Way to Wealth by Benjamin Franklin, and Millionaire Fastlane by MJ DeMarco. Now, these books all in common have the idea of investing into yourself, making yourself the asset as much as possible, finding ways to enhance your ability to delay gratification in order to be more successful. And I think these apply to financial goals, business goals, but also improve your overall social abilities and social networking. So these are the best books I've ever read in my life. Every year I go back and I read these books over and over again. I recommend them highly to all of my students. If you enjoyed this video, I want you to do something very important for me. Like the video, drop a like, because that helps the algorithm. It costs you nothing to like the video. It's literally free, but it does a lot for me and it encourages me to make more videos like this, which I want to know that you like it. And it also boosts the YouTube algorithm, okay? And if you're brand new to my stuff and what I teach, I got a free mini course down in the description. Go check it out. You will greatly benefit from it because my best work always updated. And if you want to watch more videos about social skills and education, got a live training video up in the corner and social reactions the other corner. And that's it for now. Let's keep rocking. As always, keep in touch and don't be a stranger. GG.